What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I'm back with another part in the Sauerkraut Kids saga. The first part I uploaded, it's the last video on the channel, the weirdest kid of all time. I said if you guys got that to like, I don't know, 1,000 likes and comments that we would do part 2. You guys did that in like an hour. So I'm giving you guys part 2. For part 3, there is a part 3. That's right, I'm going to tease you guys one more time. 5K likes, 2,000 comments. I'm making it a little bit more difficult, but this guy's weird. You know, there's a lot of stories I've got about this kid. But for those of you that didn't see part 1, there was this kid at this park that I grew up at, or didn't grow up there, but like grew up going to. I could walk there. And he was in the field one day, and I went over there, and he smelled like sauerkraut. Not something you want to smell like. He was playing with dog poop with a stick. He tried to hit me with the stick, so I broke it, and then he got mad at me for breaking it and tried to hire people to, like, punish me. You know, just the typical situation you expect to bump into at a public park. Either way, last time I saw Sauerkraut Kid, he was trying to hire people to come after me for the broken stick, so I was just kind of a little bit more paranoid than normal when I was going to the park, but on this particular day I wanted to go. I was going to go hang out with my friends and have a lightsaber battle. So I grabbed my plastic lightsaber, you know, the ones that you can get from Walmart that's just like the plastic tube that you can flick out. I grabbed that and I start going to the park to meet my friends at the playground. And I didn't think that like my plastic lightsaber was as good as bear mace or anything, but in my head I thought that if Sauerkraut Kid comes after me, I can just smack him with the lightsaber, because if you've ever been smacked with one of those plastic lightsabers really hard, like, yeah, okay, it doesn't make you need to go to the hospital or anything, but it's certainly not pleasant. Pleasant, oh my goodness, my voice is not working right now, I'm sorry, it's gonna get better from now on, I'm going pro mode. So I start walking to the park, and I don't think I'm gonna bump into him, but I'm feeling okay even if I do because of my lightsaber, and I assume that Sauerkraut Kid isn't there because I don't see anyone in the field, and that's usually where he would hang out. And I start walking across the grass to the playground, and on the right-hand side of the grass, there was this tree line, and out of the tree line, I see Sauerkraut Kid walking out, and he's not paying attention to me, so I just kind of keep walking, hoping he won't realize who I am, because I'm just not trying to have another interaction. After that first one, where he basically, like, was threatening me and trying to chase me around, hiding in the slide, stalking me, he wasn't number 1 on my list of people to see again. So I start walking, just gonna let him go out into the field, do what he wants to do, play with some dog poop again, whatever he's got going on. But as I'm past him, so he's behind me now, I hear him scream out, "Stop!" And I'm not a mathematician, I don't know what the odds are that he's yelling at me, but I'll say this, there was no one else in the field. I look over my shoulder a little bit, he's looking at me, so I'm assuming he's yelling stop at me, and I'm not planning on stopping. Obviously, if someone you don't want to talk to starts screaming at you to stop so they can talk to you, the last thing you're going to do is stop, so I just turn around and start walking faster. And when I start walking faster, he yells out to me again and says, "Freeze." And of course I don't freeze because you're not a cop. There's no reason for me to freeze. And now I know you want to come after me. It kind of reminded me of the first time I interacted with him when he was like, "Hey, don't do that." Yeah, okay, when you're chasing me saying you're going to attack me, I'm not really worried about what you want me to do. So I don't freeze and I hear footsteps coming up to me faster. So I start running. And as those of you who saw part 1 would know, I'm a little bit faster than him, and instead of going to the slides where I ran last time, I know that my friends are going to be at the park, so I start running over there. And I hear him gaining on me a little bit, and it just so happens that there was this part coming up where you had to, like, open this fence gate thing. And I knew that when I went to do that, he was going to catch up to me. And I'm not stoked about it, but I literally had no other option. So as I start approaching this gate thing, I like take out my plastic lightsaber. And I don't think it's going to do a whole lot, but I turn around and I tell him to stop. He doesn't seem too scared of it. I'm not going to say I blame him for that, but he starts getting closer. So I do what anyone would do in this situation when you've told someone to stop and they don't stop and you've got a plastic lightsaber. And I just start schwacking him with it. And those things can hurt if someone's really going. I'm not saying I was the strongest little kid, but I was hitting as hard as I can. And that was probably a mistake, because instead of scaring him away, it was like I just made him angry. It'd be like if a bear attacked you and you didn't have bear mace, so you just sprayed him in the eyes with bug spray instead. Now you just have a pissed off bear coming after you. So at this point, I'm kind of pinned up against the gate, and he tackles me to the ground once the lightsaber doesn't really do anything. And he's bigger than me, so it's not hard for him to take me to the ground, but as soon as I hit the ground, I just start thrashing around like a Tasmanian devil. For those of you that have ever played Crash Bandicoot before, you know the move when he like spins in a circle and punches everything within reach? That's kind of the attack I'm going for. I'm just swinging my fists around. And he's trying to pin me down, and he's like growl talking. I don't know if that makes sense. You know when someone's really mad and they're talking through gritted teeth? And he says how much he hates me and I owe him for breaking his stick the last time that I saw him. Keep in mind, this is the guy who's angry that I broke the thing he was chasing me with to like hit me with dog poop. He was poking dog poop with this stick and then chased me with it. Anyone in that situation's gonna break it. But whatever, I don't really know what to do in this situation, but I'm starting to realize that there isn't much for me to do, so I start fighting a little bit dirty. Not saying it was the greatest idea, but I start just kind of pinching him to try to get him to let go. And I pinch him really hard and he lets go for a second. And as soon as he lets go, I kind of pop up and just start running towards the park. I get the gate open, start taking off. And I think I got away. And I'm not going to get cocky or anything because I'm not trying to get caught. But I'm just sprinting towards the park and I don't really hear him. And I hear him scream no and I hear the gate open. And I don't hear any footsteps or anything. But the next thing I feel is like a hand around my ankle. And I realized that this guy must have done like the Madden dive when someone's breaking away for the touchdown and you've got one last chance to try to tackle him. He must have done that to get out there and get a hold of my ankle. But he grabs it and pulls it back and physics does what physics does and I kind of slam onto the ground. And so I get up and he won't let go of my ankle. So I start like pulling on my leg to try to get it out of his hand. And you would think at this point, I don't know, maybe he'll like get up or something, but in the moment, he must not have been thinking. And Sauerkraut Kid, who still smells like sauerkraut, by the way, it wasn't even just like a bad day for him the last time, this is just how he smells, decides the best thing to do is to bite my ankle. So he just opens up wide. I didn't smell his breath, thankfully. I'm sure it would have smelled like beans and sauerkraut. And just takes a chunk out of my ankle. Not literally. He's not like a Tasmanian tiger. He's not a literal tiger. But he does bite me pretty hard. He didn't take a chunk out of me. It didn't break the skin, but it's enough to make me go, ow, ow, ow. And I'm close enough to the park that people can hear, so I see people looking. And at this point, this guy's biting my ankle. I don't really know what to do, so I just keep yelling. I don't care who comes over, the FBI, a parent, a group of kids. It doesn't matter, just someone come help me. And I see a few of my friends, so I wave and they start coming over. And there was a group of moms who were there with like younger kids. Like I'm talking, these kids can't even talk English yet, you know, they're just sitting there, baba goo goo, baba Gigi. So they're doing that. And so that group of moms starts coming over. My friends come over, and they're screaming at him to let go of my ankle. Because he's still biting my ankle, dude. Persistence on that guy. Last time I saw him, he kind of stalked me around the park for a while, made me take the tube slide escape. This time, his persistence was in making sure that I got a good dental match imprinted on my leg. If I would have gone missing, the cops would have found me and been like, yep, well, we got the dental records of whoever did this and printed on his ankle. Regardless, my friends come over and they start yelling at him to let go, and he's just not. I don't think he was really afraid of my friends because it's just a bunch of kids, and my friends probably would have pried him off my ankle. They wouldn't have done nothing. But as he's ignoring them, that group of moms pull up, and when you're a kid, nothing is more terrifying than like a group of angry moms. And they start screaming at him to let go. What's wrong with him? Why would he do that? Because I think they could tell from the look on my face that I was not having a good time, and it's just insane to see someone bite someone. So he lets go, and I run over to my friends, and I'm standing with them, not too thrilled about the situation, but I also don't want them to like tell my parents, because my parents aren't going to let me come back to the park. And the lady is like, why would you bite him? What's wrong with you? And Sauerkraut Kid starts trying to get me to cover for him, which is a horrible idea. I get he's afraid of getting in trouble, but you can't really attack me and bite me and then try to use me to cover for you, because I'm just not going to do that. Anyways, Sauerkraut Kid starts trying to play it off and be like, oh, we were just friends, we're playing. Keep in mind, I have a huge red mark on my ankle now where his teeth have been just biting me for a while. And usually in this situation, I would say don't snitch, and I didn't snitch. But I wasn't gonna let him say we were friends, and so I start being like, dude, I don't know you. We are not friends. And he starts looking around being like, dude, come on, stop playing with me. You know we were just goofing. That didn't feel like goofing to me. I don't know. I don't know if it was being tackled, the being like attacked, or the being bitten. All of those things don't really feel like goofing around to me. Call me nuts, but I prefer my friend treat me like strangers and not attack me. Whatever, though, he starts trying to play it off, and I'm not really having it, and the ladies are just kind of standing there watching us argue back and forth, kind of like a Wii Sports tennis match, just no you, no you, no you, no you. And finally, I'm like, man, you've done this twice now. Do you know how annoying that is? And at that point, the ladies scream out. They're like, he bit you twice? And so I do clarify that, like, no, he hasn't bit me twice, but twice now I've been trying to hang out at the park and he's just caused problems. And at that point, they want to go mind their business. They bit off more they can chew. So they're like, all right, we'll just play nice. Yep, that'll do it. Peace rates are across the nation sky high. Why didn't we think of that? We should just go to Russia and be like, guys, play nice. Play nice. Let's just be nice. And they'll be like, oh, you guys are right. We all should just be friends. So they leave. And at that point, he kind of walks away with his head tucked between his legs, his tail tucked between his legs. Not his head tucked between his legs, like, you know, he's walking away, but he wanted to keep an eye on us, so he's just got his head tucked between his legs. Not like that, but literally, like, dejectedly walking away. That's probably the better word for it. So he's kind of walking away, seeming like he's gonna leave us alone, and my friends are all around, and they're kind of excited about it. Dude, that guy attacked you, and we saved you, blah, 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 it's so cool. And I'm not trying to crap on their parade. I'm still trying to play Star Wars. So we start kind of playing the game that we had planned on playing. And we're having ourselves a grand old time. And the way this playground worked, there was like two main stages that were raised like 5 feet off the ground. But underneath them, you could still kind of climb on the support beams. And so we were all playing down there. And we were just having like lightsaber fights. And because we're all friends, the rule is don't smack each other too hard. It's just not a very good idea. It's just everyone's gonna get hurt because it's not like if you smack someone really hard, they're just gonna say, ow, that hurt. Don't do that again. No, they're gonna smack you back. And then you're gonna be mad that they smacked you for an accident, so you're gonna smack them. We all know that it's just how it progresses. So we're all being really gentle, and one of the guys had brought a few extra of like the plastic lightsabers just in case people wanted to play. And we had left them over by this bench. And so me and my friend are having a lightsaber fight, and we're doing it gently. And I hear the guy that brought all the extra lightsabers be like, dude, you have to ask. You can't just take it. And so I look to see what's happening, and Sauerkraut Kid now has a lightsaber. Not only does he have a lightsaber, it happens to be red. That's just luck, but he's also a bad guy. If you're not a Star Wars fan, you don't get why that's funny. But he kind of starts walking at me, and I can tell by the look on his face that he's about to try to hit me really hard with a plastic lightsaber. So I kind of like walk away from my friend, and he runs off. And Sauerkraut Kid just starts running at me. And he doesn't have it out yet. I could just see it was red based on like the top of it. And the way that these plastic lightsabers work is you pull the button down and you just flick your wrist. It's really, really simple. But he runs up to me and starts trying to like get it out, and he can't. And I'm just looking at him and I say, why are you so obsessed with me? Because at this point, it's just starting to be weird. Every time I come to the park, the entire time I'm here, he's just either watching me or trying to fight me. And he says, I'm not obsessed with you. I'm just challenging you to a fight. So we both have our lightsabers, and he finally, after struggling with it for way too long, gets his lightsaber out. And I'm like, all right, but just don't hit too hard and I won't hit you too hard. I don't even know why I thought he was going to follow that rule. That was pretty stupid of me. As I said, I was like 2 or 3 years younger than him, and I was a little kid. So in my mind, once someone says they're not going to hit you very hard with the plastic lightsaber, you just won't do it, because why would you do that? And he smiles and he agrees, and we start going, and the first time I get smacked is like on the right shoulder. And I realize that he's not going to stick to our agreement to not hit each other very hard, because that hurt. So I start kind of like backing up just because he's bigger than me. Like there's only so much I can do. And he's just kind of walking at me, swinging it over his head like a baseball bat. And so I start taking my lightsaber and I just start whacking him in the ribs on the side as hard as he's trying to hit me. And he keeps getting madder, and so he just starts trying to like really swing the lightsaber way too hard. And I don't know if you've ever watched someone be in a fight where like they just feel like punching as hard as they can is what matters. Obviously in a fight you want to punch hard, but if you've ever seen someone get in a fight and they're just throwing haymakers and it's like such a dramatic punch that there's no way the person's going to let themselves get hit. And yeah, it's powerful, but they're never going to hit anyone. He's doing that equivalent with this like plastic toy sword and just swinging it, and I'm just kind of backing up. And we're getting near this point where I know that there's a pretty steep hill coming up. So I turn around and I just start running up to where this steep hill drops off. And when I say steep hill, it's more like, what is it? What's the opposite of steep? Angular cliff? Like, it's more of just a straight drop off than it is a hill. You're not gonna plummet like 40 feet straight down, but if you fall off the little like 3-foot ledge, you're rolling down the hill and you're rolling fast. And I start running, and I hear Sauerkraut Kid start screaming that I need to stop running away from him and blah. And I'm not gonna stop running away from you, because he's just bigger than me. Like, there's not much I can really do. I'm not gonna take him in a one-on-one fight. I already know he's willing to bite me, and on top of that, he's just like double my size. There's only so much you can do when the person's just twice the size of you. Imagine being a 6-foot tall guy, and then some dude that's like 12 feet tall starts trying to pick a fight. He probably wasn't literally double the size, but some guy that's 9 feet tall starts trying to pick a fight. You just don't really have good odds. But I know he's mad at me, so he just starts chasing me up the hill, and I run to the top where that little ledge is, and I jump because what my thought was is if I jump off this little 3-foot ledge and I land straight and then back up against the wall, I won't roll. So I do that, and it just happens to work out. There was like 8.5 inches of just flat right at the top where the ledge was. But I hear him running, and I don't hear him slowing down, and I'm not saying this was my plan, because of course that would be mean. But when he comes running up and keeps running and doesn't have time to stop himself before he starts rolling down the hill, I might have giggled a little bit, and that's exactly what happens. He like runs off and hits the hill, and he's not going to roll hard and like break his bone, but he just kind of had to embrace it. And you know how kids roll down like a grass hill? He just does that, and he starts rolling. And I'm watching him roll down the hill, and it's not like we had an insane lightsaber fight. I literally ran away. But I'm having a little bit of a moment as I'm watching him roll. I'm like, this is what Obi-Wan felt like after he beat Anakin on the lava planet. Mustafar was crazy. Like, I'm just having myself a little Star Wars moment because, I don't know, little kids, you just got a big imagination. So I go back to my friends and I say, look, I'm gonna go home because that kid just keeps trying to fight me and whatnot, and he just chased me up the hill, he rolled down the hill. I'm just gonna leave because I don't want to keep dealing with this. And my friends are like, okay, yeah, all right, we get it, man. And the kid who had brought all the lightsabers says, well, where's the lightsaber that he took? And I'm like, I don't know, man. And he gets a little mad at me. Well, you let him take the lightsaber? Dude, I didn't let him take anything. You're the one who left him by the bench. If you don't want people to take it, don't set them out and say, anyone take one if you want one. And on top of that, when he's chasing me, I'm sorry that my number one priority was getting away. It wasn't really my friend's plastic lightsaber that cost $12. Yes, that's a fortune to a little kid. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna politely ask him to give me the lightsaber and then roll down the hill so I can get away. So whatever, we're arguing for a bit and I decide to leave, so I start going across the field. And by the time I'm halfway across the field, Sauerkraut Kid has now gotten back up the hill over to where my friends are. And the only reason I know that is he starts screaming like, where's Ryan? Where's Ryan? At this point, he had learned my name. We've encountered each other like 3 times now. Where is he? Where is he? And my friends are like, he went home. And Sauerkraut Kid has also deducted at this point that I live this direction because I always come across the field. So he had a white shirt on and most of my friends had jackets on, so it just looked very distinctive. And I start watching this white t-shirt just come sprinting over to the field where I am. So I take off to the corner just because I'm already out of energy. I've been running the entire time. I'm not trying to deal with this. So I get back across and I cross the street. And that must have been where he like was no longer allowed to run and have free reign because he stopped at the corner and started saying that next time I came to the park there was gonna be issues and blah blah. And of course little kid me is like, all right man, whatever, I'm gonna be back, oh I don't care. And I did end up going back and we did have another interaction, but that was the second time I interacted with Sauerkraut Kid when he tried to like come attack me with a plastic lightsaber. I don't know if it's as good as the first one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want part 3, like I said, 5,000 likes and comment part 3, because if there's not 2,000 comments on the video, it's not happening. Other than that, you should just like, comment, and subscribe anyways. If you like the videos like this and you're new, I post them pretty often, so you should subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any more. If you like the story times but you would rather listen to them like in audio format, I do post the audio over on Spotify. You can check that out. The link down below in the description will take you there. And beyond that, one more thing I wanted to plug. I've been doing like a little bit of a weekly podcast thing on my third channel, Scrub A. So if you want more content, check that out. If not, I won't take it personally. But yeah, on that note, that'll officially do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.